Hello everyone, welcome to Five Elms and a follow-on video actually from my previous video, which was a sort of welcome back after a 6-year hiatus from the hobby. I'm up here tonight running some trains, and so I thought I would just do a small update on some plans and some things that I'm going to start working on very soon. Now, I mentioned in the last video that this is probably going to be the next stage that I work on, just this little, almost like a diorama really, I suppose, next to the station. This bit has always bugged me what to do here, so I think what I'm going to do is, and the parcel service train actually sort of triggered me into thinking that I'm going to make this into a bit of a Royal Mail parcel area. You know, I'm going to work on some new railings, have some stuff in there where they can be loading. This little fence here as well, obviously we wouldn't want the general public, if you like, to be able to gain access to this area, so I'm going to separate it with a fence, probably paint that red for Royal Mail, so you can only gain access through the Royal Mail sort of territory, if you like. But that's going to be the first bit there. Once you take the Royal Mail vans out and the Royal Mail train, any train could be parked there, and it could be just a sort of staging area for loco maintenance or storage. That line continues under the overpass there, and that's going to be coming through here to a TMD. Now, I want this area of the layout to be very track and train focused. We're going to have a TMD yard over there and a small one here as well. What I want in this section is a lot of track and a lot of train movements. The rest of it, as I will show you in a minute, is going to be made up of town scene and countryside. So as it comes out of the bridge there, it will come off the main line into this TMD, which is really nice actually. And again, I got all this years ago. Probably to a refueling section there. I've got a box there with these sort of oil or fuel tanks that can be put in there as well. Obviously, if you follow that line down, that's going to go to the Royal Mail. So prototypically, which if you know my railway, it is a model railway, it's not a real railway. So ideally, that parcel force actually has to go through the TMD yard, which isn't correct, I know, but this is a model, and we can sort of look at them in two separate stages, can't we? We can look at it like that, and you don't really have to see it go through the TMD. But it will have to pass through the TMD to go back onto the main line. I haven't got a problem with that, that's totally fine. As I say, this area here is going to be very track and train focused. We're going to have two TMDs. This is going to be more for the diesel locos. That will be for the longer trains there. I think the signal box will stay there. I know the line of the site to the station is actually blocked, but again, I'm not prototypical, but in my mind, this signal box would be for these points. So I think that would be totally fine there. I'm not much of a shunter. I'm not interested in shunting at all. That's why I've put all of my points in this main section here. The rest of the railway is all about watching trains run through scenery. So I've got 4 main lines, and using this system, I can get that train onto this track just in this small section here, and I really do like that. So this is my main sort of operational area, and that's where I run the trains from as well. So it suits me that this is going to be very sort of industrial, track and train focused. I was never really sure what to do with this crossover, and I was just going to have it as a motorway, but I think it's too wide and there's a lot of space on there for extra scenery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this dummy line on there, and it's going to enable me to store lots of trains on there. I don't mean lots at the same time, I mean lots of different ones for interesting running shots. Like this, for example, is an analog train. I can't use it on these particular lines, but it looks great sitting there, and it's going to be great for pictures and videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to model a line going in there with the motorway, and probably enough room for some kind of walking across the bridge as well. So yeah, that's going to be probably my first task, getting back to scenery along with the Royal Mail area. In terms of my plans for the rest of the layout, nothing really has changed. Once we come out of this sort of very track central area, this is all going to be a town scene up there. Up the back, I've got an analog line that's totally separate to the main line that works on an upper loop. Probably a town scene along the back there to give it some depth. And as we start to go around here, this is all going to be countryside. There's going to be a big hill there, lots of trees, and I think that's going to be a big change to the station area, the TND area and the town scene area. This at the moment is just storing all of my railway stuff, but that's going to be a lower level so that the countryside can really sweep down, with the main focus being those 3 lines that come around there. It was my birthday recently, so I purchased an additional 2 coaches to go with my 395 Javelin, and that makes up a really nice rake of a train actually. Love the 395, it's so smooth as well. That's the super detail one where you can actually see inside the carriages. Lovely train that is, I really do like it. I've also got my station lights finally wired up, so I've been fiddling around with that. That looks really good. And just generally keeping it clean, coming up, having lots of running sessions. I've got loads of trains that need DCC chips. This one, for example, that one. I've got loads of stuff to do up here. There's a couple of analogues. That needs a DCC chip. That other line that I told you about, up there, the upper line, that actually runs all the way around the back of the layout and comes onto there as well, and this line goes all the way around the back as well. So my idea behind the model railway is whenever you go to pretty much static exhibitions, you know, when you go into somewhere, say, oh, I don't know, down in Cornwall for example, you go into these model railway layouts, and the one thing that's always fascinated me is the way that the trains disappear. They don't go round and round in a loop, they disappear, and that was my main objective here. So you've got trains disappearing off, and that goes all behind there as well, which I can use as storage, but the main idea of that is that the train takes a long time to go round the layout. And then you've got these trains as well disappearing off, like this one will disappear off. You won't know where that goes until it appears across the top there. So for operational interest, that was something that was really crucial to the way that I was designing the layout. I'm going to be keeping the Metcalf. I'm going to build another one because this one's taken a bit of a hit and we've got some stuff coming off there. And what I'm going to do is, I've got this leftover canopy. I'm going to cut that down so it fits in that recess, and that will just keep the theme almost like a welcome canopy over the station, and it will pretty much hide a lot of the Metcalf building anyway, but that will keep the theme of the station canopies. But there's still more to come. This is only the sort of getting back into it stage, coming up here, running trains, just enjoying the work that I've already done. But my head is filled with model railways again, and I'm thinking about it all the time, and I can't wait to get up here and actually start laying some scenery. Like I say, my next stage will be this little staging unit, the overpass. Before I start the overpass, actually, I will finish these sort of supports, buttresses, and I will be putting all my usual detail on there of like the like this, for example, with all the boxes, etc. So you know me, if you know the channel, I am not in any rush, so I don't care how long this takes. This is a hobby to me. I don't care if it takes another 2 years. It is irrelevant. The journey for me is, you know, really, you know, taking my time and enjoying it, not just finishing it so I can get on to the next area. So that is everyone. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.